Hello, my name is Adnan Mahmutovic, and in this video I want to tell you a little bit more about At the Feet of Mothers, my new novel, where it came from, why did I write it, what were some of the core issues that drew me to actually leave my history, my recent history of Bosnia, the war, the refugee life, all that, and explore two other places, which were America and Palestine. At the Feet of Mothers comes from this desire to explore raw emotions, raw human connections, things that bind us, things that bring us together, but which often take back seat to things like ethnicity, nationality, religion, economy, and all that. I've written so much about Bosnian history and the war, and I wanted to move away from that, but still kind of keep getting closer to that which has always been at the core of my all writing. So I was not interested in rehashing these political arguments, offering solutions to conflicts. I don't think that's the purpose of writing. I don't think that's the purpose of storytelling. So I wanted to see if I could tell a story of an adoptee who is burdened by his history, who is burdened by all these things, by nationality, by current political movements, and to see if he can actually ignore all that, if he can actually somehow not be affected by it. So there was no doubt in my mind that the main character, Joseph Schneider, would fail. How could he not fail? I mean, the burden of his history is immense. But he would try. He would continue trying, he would fail, he would try again, he would fail again, and perhaps, as Beckett said it, he would fail better. So I wanted to write a story in which the character is torn between two mothers, torn between two motherlands, like, you know, as if one mother wasn't enough. And I tend to do that to my characters. I put them in difficult situations, and a lot of times they do not come out well. They do not fare well, but all of us can perhaps stand to learn something from that. So Joseph is a character who keeps imagining that there are no borders, who imagines he can go to Gaza the way he walks through the Smoky Mountains, the way he walks through his through his woods of North Carolina, and yet he keeps hitting all kinds of walls. Sometimes he climbs them, sometimes he crawls under them, and sometimes he follows them until he reaches their ends. But then he finds new walls, thicker walls, some made of concrete and some made of emotions. In the end, the only thing worthwhile in all those moments of all these endeavors are those moments of raw intimacy and connections between people. I'll give you a scene where Joseph is taking care of Rachel, his mother, when she is sick. So this happens towards the middle of the story, when she has also revealed that he is an adoptee, that she stole him from Palestine, and when she wants him to actually go to Gaza and find his biological mother. He is extremely angry with her. He just cannot stand being in this situation, but here is how he takes care of her in that moment in the hospital. So I'll read you a little bit from that. Hugo was the one who suggested tactile stimulation instead of sedatives. It was not a regular massage, just soft touching. He would put a heavy blanket over Mom to make her feel safe and grounded. That's what he said, grounded. Then he guided her through the procedure, every time telling her exactly how he would divide her body into zones. Then he'd uncover one zone at a time and stroke each part of my mother's body, beginning with arms, always beginning with her arms, from the shoulder down to the fingertips and up again along the inside of the arm until he completed the circle at the shoulder. No stops, no breaks, full circles. He used soft smelling oil with a yellow flower on the bottle and Chinese letters underneath. He began with large strokes and then focused on details: knees, ankles, soles, toes, fingers, and every dent in her body. Then he asked me to do it. I got the hang of it after a few tries and kept removing my mother's pain until she fell asleep and the room smelled of oil and sweat, her sweat and my sweat. This scene is incredibly important in this novel. It is about a connection between a mother and a son, a connection that was broken and that he needs to re-establish by actually interacting with her ill body. This is related to the very title of the book, At the Feet of Mothers. The phrase "at the feet of mothers" comes from the Islamic dictum that paradise lies at a mother's feet. Mother in Islam is second to God only. God's mercy is called Ar-Rahmah, which is also a word for the womb. This is perhaps why we call our motherlands, our countries, we call them motherlands. We want our nations to be second only to God. And Joseph has huge issues with that. He has incredible problems with that. But also, what this book is trying to do is to show how incredibly bad our relationships with our parents are. It is almost a given that we would have mom issues. Often we can't empathize with our mothers. We can empathize with strangers online, everywhere, but a lot of times we fail to empathize with our own parents, our own mothers, as if they are our greatest enemies. And I refuse that. I admit that I have felt that way for many years of my life. For the bulk of my life, I have felt like that. And it took me a while to come to this point in my life where I actually, forgive my mother for things I believe she'd done wrong. But then, having written this book, I also came to a realization that, I refuse all that. Damn you, Freud. It took me such a long time to understand, why would paradise be placed at a mother's feet. I realized that I had nothing to forgive. So it took the writing of this entire story to realize I was wrong even when I was right. And I'm not sure how far my character Joseph manages to come. If he comes to this realization, he harbors too much love, too much grudge, and too much grief to perhaps to come to that point. But his journey has helped me, and I hope there is something in this story for all of you. And I hope you will enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed working on it, as much as I feel I have learned by actually making this journey throughout the world, by writing this weird piece about these weird people who are also incredibly, incredibly lovable. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the story.